Right, hello again. If you want to guess Spain like this, then stick around. So I'll run through some really good games first, and then the tips will start in about 3 minutes. Okay, so Spain is an interesting one. I would say, compared to some countries, the amount of coverage there is and the lack of kind of camera car metas, it's not going to be something where you can just super reliably guess where you are, but I do recommend several things. Architecture is very, very strong. Landscape is fairly strong, but less reliable at certain times. But then actually, Spain is quite a high information country. I know you can get rural rounds where you're never really going to be able to do much more than go off vibes. But if you play duels or anything where you can move a bit, or if you have any semi-urban location, the information that's there is actually really good. There are a lot of linguistic clues. Road numbers are great. Phone numbers are great. Even like other kind of cultural things as well end up being really important. So yeah, these are just some guesses that I'm doing. These are based on, as I said, like language, architecture, landscape, things like that. This one here, again, I see it says Alto Aragon, so a bit of knowledge of regions is helpful. I really recommend knowing the regions, knowing the main towns, because things are referred to quite a lot. So just having that knowledge is really helpful. But then other times like this, like I'm just guessing off pure landscape here. I know that that's likely to be southeast, so end up with a good guess. So I'm just going to run through a few more of these guesses. This one takes me a while. I don't really have much to go on here, so even then, like I still manage an okay guess that you'd be perfectly happy with on world map. This one again, landscape. I know the landscape quite well by now, so end up able to get a really, really good guess in. So I think I'll run through one more game and then I'll talk about some of the clues a bit more. I think we had coast there, southwest, and I am being a bit slow, but get there eventually. This one, just a bit of knowledge of the roads. Like it says A3, but I, for some reason, don't know why I thought we might be near Madrid, but end up with a good guess. Architecture here is going to be really clear, and it says Vitoria-Gasteiz, which is Basque capital, so now we have to be near there. And even here, this is just architecture, pure architecture. End up making a good one. Okay, last one. Again, this is architecture. Not the closest, but still decent. Right, so Spain is an amazing country. I think the building block is to know the geography of it quite well, know the regions, know the towns, know the languages, know the landscape. Like it's going to be more green in the north, more dry in the south, as a general rule. The middle is a bit interchangeable. Road numbers appear pretty often, and they give you a great clue to your region or your nearest town. So, for example, you'll get like LE for Leon, CM for Castilla-La Mancha, ME for Menorca, things like that. I will talk about phone numbers briefly. There's a pattern to them. They start with a 9. The second number can give you a rough indicator of which part of the country you're in. There are a few other specific tips. I would say older camera coverage is quite often found like east of Madrid towards Zaragoza, semi-reliable. Not sure though, like it's just something I've picked up. Extremadura uses green tops on the bollards. Balearics, you'll find a lot of dry stone walls. These are more kind of specific tips. Then architecture. If I've covered everything else, then architecture is really important in Spain. So architecture clues are potentially frustrating sometimes. Simi talks about them in great detail over on his channel, so I recommend that. But yeah, architectural clues, they're never going to be 100% reliable, but I find in Spain it's really quite good. So like you saw me make that guess near Bejar, and that was purely on architecture. That's because, in kind of Castilla y León and Extremadura, closer to Portugal, The architecture kind of reflects that Portuguese style a little bit more, like the white walls and the terracotta roofs. Here's another example. Um, then my tip for the area around Madrid is that generally the buildings, particularly in the suburbs, are quite often newer looking, like this. These kind of housing developments, clearly like newer style. You get a lot of those in Madrid suburbs. Then this will be your typical Andalusian architecture, much more kind of white, not kind of distinct roofs in the same way you get here, more kind of flat roofs. Then northern architecture. I mean, you can see the northern landscape is pretty clear and easy to tell from the rest of the country. You get these white buildings. They almost look like something you find in like Brittany. Generally a little bit more French as well. Like this looks almost slightly French. Much more wooden building materials used, more slate. Another good example here, wooden window frames. This is Basque country. So yeah, these architectural tips are, if you start looking out for them, you'll find they're actually really helpful in Spain. So yeah, I'll show you my high score now of 24k. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, good luck playing Spain. Love it. What a country.